Morning all, how we doing? Happy Tuesday. So, I made a balls up last night. Morning Stevie, Diamond, Peter, Modis. Forgot to take off my DAX trade last night. Had a DAX running, had two DAXs running. Where's my pen? Morning David. Yeah, so left the DAX trade on last night. Had a position there and a position there. Was in profit and forgot to close it. So of course we gapped up this morning and I stopped out on both of those. Can't believe it. I just completely forgot I had the trade on. So lesson. Overnight. Don't hold overnight on indices. Morning, Andy. So, yeah, starting with a lovely 1.5% deficit this morning. Something like that. Anyway, I've got DAX short on. So, just cover the DAX quickly before the market opens. We'll have a look at the news in a sec as well. So, we've still got this gap fill from Thursday to Friday last week. Yesterday we put in a very large rotation day. Didn't go anywhere. We just rotated up and down and ended up back where we started. And this morning we've gapped up. So obviously the market is bearish. We're looking for shorts. We've done a very strong retracement on this initial move down here. So we're above the 71.9 retracement basically, which is where we were butting up to on Friday and yesterday, and we've just gapped just above those highs this morning. So if we're going to continue with our bearish market structure, this is spot on where we should be looking today for drops. And obviously we've also got the added bonus of two gap fills now to do. So I've got a short position built already. I took, there's two positions here. One's a tiny little position. The other one is a normal position. So I've just got three positions on short this morning at the open, 1.5% risk. And I've got a pending order on. And I've also got a little one left over from yesterday. So I had three positions on yesterday. This one had a decent stop on it. The other two obviously just got stopped out. So I'm gunning for the short this morning, looking to get out of the gates basically. So we've got this initial gap fill to fill, whether you want to go for the close or the high of the wick varies depending on what the market fancies. And then obviously the bigger gap fill is down here. So we've got two gaps now, which is very unusual not to get this done, but it can take 2 or 3 days sometimes. Some gaps do take a while to fill. So this looks like one of those, unfortunately. But yeah, so I'm going for a short this morning. If I get stopped out, I get stopped out. But it's a very high reward trade if this works this morning. So I'm going to try and ride these down. And I've got 1.5% deficit to make up this morning. So meh. Swiss yen is pushing up, which is the other position I've got on at the moment. I've got that I'm holding at the minute. I've just added another position to that one this morning. So just added another long here. So that's running quite nicely at the moment. But we'll have a look at that in a bit. Morning, Burke. So yeah, DAX obviously on the daily chart. We had a nice rotation day yesterday. When I say nice rotation day, I hate rotation days, but we had a rotation day yesterday. We didn't make a new high, but we have gapped up into a new high this morning. So may well have a little push this morning, hoping that we're not. We're just going to dump, but we will see. News today, big news day today. We've had the Aussie dollar overnight. That didn't do anything, I don't think. Yeah, no, nothing on the ADRs, so nothing happened off the back of that news. Bullard, we've got this afternoon at 1 o'clock. Main news today is retail sales at 1:30. This is what's going to mainly move the market today. Then we've got Powell speaking this evening, followed by Mester. So retail sales, Powell will probably have something to say off of that. Whether or not he says anything that's going to move the market, we will see. Yeah, retail sales this afternoon is the main catalyst, so we might have a fairly sideways morning. We'll see while they're waiting for the retail sales figures to come out. Then tomorrow morning, Aussie dollar, we've got the wage price index. This doesn't tend to change greatly. You can see you either get the forecast or you're kind of a percentile out. It's very rare that it jumps more than 0.1%, so you don't tend to get a lot of movement off of that. So I wouldn't worry too much if you've got any Aussies on. It doesn't tend to have enough fluctuation to actually make the market move. It's kind of an as expected. You never know, it might, if it jumps 0.2 or 0.3%, then it will probably move the market, but it doesn't tend to normally. And then tomorrow morning we've got CPI, which is the main thing for the pound. So we've got busy news a couple of days coming up. Obviously this afternoon, an hour ahead of market open, we've got the main one for the US dollar. So we'll see how we get on this morning. Not a good day yesterday on the DAX. Well, I had a good day on the DAX yesterday. I made £1,000 on my other account and I lost about 180 on this. So just was very difficult to trade yesterday. Rotation days are hard to trade. But we will see where we go this morning. So, blimey, hello. That'd be nice if that continues. Just realised I haven't got the crickets on. Let me just find them. So big opening sell flurry there. It's quite nice. So I got another sell stop underneath these lows. Basically, didn't quite gather me up there, but basically the idea being if we break this support resistance, I'm going to add another position on with a view for the fill. So we'll see this morning. Not a lot of volume coming in this morning. That initial flurry of orders, nothing else. No follow through at the moment. So we're just tapping back into previous 2 days highs here. So this is quite a strong, potentially quite a strong support. And based on the volume at the moment, unlikely we're going to break it. We haven't got any sellers in the market at the minute. Nasdaq's selling off. The FTSE's selling off quite hard. I've taken a couple of positions also on the euro and the pound, which I'll go through in a minute. And US dollar CAD I'm getting ready to get along on as well. Morning, Neo. But we'll have a look at the rest of the market in a minute. Let's just see what goes on with this DAX this morning. Not the fastest opening in the world, is it? Okay, rejecting the previous day's low by the looks of things at the minute. A little bit of buying starting to trickle through. Lovely. Right. It's me done for the morning by those things. It was a high risk trade, so we'll see. No, they're flying. So this market is not looking very bearish at the moment. We've got massive, obviously, gaps which are just not getting filled at the moment. The market's just buying like crazy. Obviously, it's very cheap down here as far as everybody's concerned, so there's a lot of buying up. But this high here is obviously the ultimate high that we're looking to hold. If we invalidate this high, we've got new bullish market structure forming. So we've still got plenty of room to get up there. You know, we've got 2 or 3 days potentially of movement before we actually come up and test these highs. But certainly at the moment, it looks like the market wants to test those highs. So we will see where we go. But we might just be flushing out at the moment. A little push up to the highs before it drops. That position that's just got stopped out is the one from yesterday. But I'm sitting right on this sell stop at the moment. So my stops on the positions I've got open are up here. So got a little room still. Can you tell us what the updates on the RSI dashboard are, please? You can look at that information in the info panel. In the what's new. Just go to the product and look at what's new. All it is colour changes, that's all. So you can now choose your colours. That's all. Whoops. Somebody contacted me that's colourblind. And the red and the green don't work, so just put colour options in, basically, that's all. Nothing exciting. Nothing much else it can do, that dash, really, to be honest. It's just is what it is. If ever you want to know what an update is, on the indicator page, there's a what's new tab. You know, where you got the description, the reviews, the whatever else there is. Something else there, isn't there? And there's a what's new tab. The what's new tab for all the indicators and the EAs always just contains version info. So whenever there's an update, it updates in the what's new tab and just shows you basically what's been updated. But I didn't bother pushing out in the Telegram group because it's it's not an exciting update. Unless you're colourblind, obviously, then it is a very exciting update. We're just bearish engulfing. Well, we're attempting a bearish engulfing. I've got 2.5 minutes left on this candle. Just taking another short on my other platform. I didn't get this one on. So I'm just adding that on now. So little push up there on the daily. So that opens room now for downward movement today. So if you look at down days, when we get down days, typically whenever we get a down day, we get a little push to start the day. Sometimes it's a fairly big push, but we usually get some movement to the upside before a down day. So fingers crossed, that is our up movement before the down day, and they want to put in one of these bad boys to come and get this gap filled. That would be nice. Right, I'm just going to leave that running for a sec. ADRs, nothing on the ADR dash this morning. The things that I was expecting to see this morning would be the Aussies, but we haven't got any movement off the Aussies. So we had that Aussie news this morning. Monetary policy meeting minutes basically did the same as the pound yesterday. Nothing. So no movement off the back of that, unfortunately. So yeah, nothing on the ADRs, nothing on the weeklies. Anything hits today here, it's going to take an ADR push probably to get a weekly anyway. But if we get anything hitting here, you want to pay attention to this on Tuesdays and Wednesdays really, and look for sort of midweek reversals. So nothing lit up at the moment on the weekly ranges. A little bit more selling starting to trickle in on the DAX. The hourly RSIs, we've got a few, and the 4 hours, which are all fairly similar. I'm just watching this DAX in a minute on my other platform. Nice consistent selling coming in now. Could we actually get a gap fill done? You've been letting us down on these gap fills, Mr. Dax, for the last couple of days, so it'd be nice if you actually did one. We had that lovely one last week, didn't we, which hit literally before the market opened. Beautiful. Steve, you quite like the colours as they are. Yeah, just leave them as they are. It's defaulted to these anyway. So, one button. Fire brick and green is what I use. So it's defaulted to those. So if you don't change them, it won't change anything. It won't look different at all. But it's just you've got the option now if you want to change those. But not a big update, not a functional update anyway. It's just a quality of life. So RSIs, we've got a few. So the positions I've got on at the moment, Swiss yen I've still got running long. Oops, wrong one. Swiss yen I've got running long at the moment still. I'm in positive territory on this. I've moved my TP on this. I realised my TP was here. I've no idea why I had my TP there. I think I just wanted to get out of it, but it makes no logical sense to have TP here, unless, apart from the fact it's a 61.8 retracement, which obviously, if we're going to do a fib retracement, 61.8 is potentially where we might get a bounce. But it makes more sense for them to come up and retest this area up here. And let me just turn the crickets down a little bit. They're a bit noisy this morning. I'll just turn my volume down overall. So I've moved my TP up underneath this low here, basically with a view to just getting a potential resistance bounce. As you know, I think the yen is actually not strengthening up, so I think we're going to get continued weakness on the yen. The problem is obviously the Swiss franc isn't particularly strong either at the moment, so I'm looking for this basically just to grind up to there, and if we get any real weakness and real selling start to come in on the yen, obviously the Swiss franc will just spike, as will everything else. So I've just added a new position on here, just building and adding to this position to look to get up to there to get out, because obviously that's the most logical area. So I'm just keeping a close eye on it though. When we get to this 61.8 level, I might scale out of some of it, but I will see what happens when we get there. I'm just going to put the TP there on that one. So that's going really well at the moment. I took a euro trade on the euro odd. So I scaled out of this one. Very nice profit on this last week. Got out of it on Friday. We pushed back up into this support resistance area, bounced beautifully. We broke down below the lows, so I've added an initial position on as we broke the lows, and I've just added another one on this morning as we broke this low here. So obviously it just came straight back up again. But yeah, so we've broken basically this level now, which is kind of the key, the most recent key support here. So that's now been broken, this level, quite substantially. I mean, it didn't just break it, it slammed through it. So I'm looking for a pullback up into here somewhere, and then a continuation down towards the lows. Obviously it's just selling off the euro. I'm always selling off the euro. So this is the move I was waiting for when I got out on Friday. I was expecting them to come and break these lows and challenge this area here, but it just took forever. You know, I was stuck in it for 5 days, so I just had enough and got out, and then obviously a day later it went. So I've added that back in again with a view to building on that to get down to these lows here. So I'm in that one, and I'm in a pound. I think it was the pound Swiss short. This thing's gone to the moon as soon as I got in it. So we looked at this one yesterday. We're extended on the 4-hour RSI now. This is what I was playing off of, this high, these highs here, basically this accumulation. So this whole area around here is an area that we've been consistently bouncing off. Obviously it slammed through it. So I was trying to build a position ready to get in ahead of news this afternoon, which I'm obviously now in, but gone straight into drawdown. This thing's just gone screaming off during the Asian session, and continuing so far during London. So plan is to get in with final position up here. So I'm looking for the news basically to spike and then drop. So putting a pending order up at the highs. This is only a small position. Remember I said yesterday I'm only getting in with kind of a half position on this because I wasn't sure about it. So got 3 positions on it, adding in there. That is going to be jumping up into this resistance. We've got these highs. Yeah, this is a very, very strong resistance level. We're in a beautiful range. We've been in a beautiful range for weeks. So I'm looking for them to basically come and do a liquidity run on this whole area here during the news and then dump it. So got no TP set. Just going to get into it up here and then drop back down again. So take that pound Swiss on as well. So that's basically what I've got on. There's a few 4-hour RSI opportunities as well this morning. We've got the CAD Swiss. That's just started rolling over. So very nicely extended on the 4-hour. 15, we've just got the reverse alert on. So that's a really nice entry right now. There's nice big propulsion moves to aim for as initial targets on the way down. And we've got obviously this massive propulsion move here to aim for as well. Obviously the CAD is strong at the moment, so you are trading counter trend. As you can see, we are obviously in a long at the moment on this, trending up, but we are very, very, very nicely extended away from the 24. You know, the 24 and the 72 act as magnets for price. It will get pulled back down there, and we've nicely extended on the 4-hour. We're nicely extended away from the 24. It's just rolling over. You just got your 15-minute reverse alert, spot on short. Just be aware of this level here, and obviously then these levels here. If we're going to continue on our current trend, one of those things is probably going to be playing out, or a 24 bounce depending on when the 24 catches. Yeah, it hasn't got back to the 24 for about a month, so it's due a nice deep pullback. So looking pretty good for a short CAD Swiss. I've obviously got some Swiss on at the moment, so I'm not going to take that one. Euro CAD, we've got a nice bounce going on at the moment. Obviously CAD is strong, the euro is weak. We've got lovely drops on this. I got out of a nice short on this one. Bit of buying coming in on the DAX at the moment. So yeah, we're getting a nice double bottom bounce we are nicely extended on the RSI. So one or two things is going to happen here. We're either going to get that pullback and drop, which is what we typically tend to see on the euro pairs vast majority of the time at the moment, especially when they're paired up with a nice strong pair like the CAD, or we're going to get, as we had last time, a stronger push. So we'll get some kind of reaction here. The fact that this thing has collapsed so hard and so fast, literally within a week, we've undone a couple of weeks worth of gain basically there. Big strong drop, some kind of pullback, big strong pop, drop, some kind of pullback, big strong drop, likely to get some kind of pullback. Whether it's going to be driven by the euro or by CAD weakness, more likely by CAD weakness than euro strength, I suspect we are probably going to get some kind of pullback. But this is the euro. Equally, this thing could just dump. We've got the additional kind of imminent danger of a trade war between euro and the pound coming up as well. We've got problems with Northern Ireland with Brexit, and there's more arguments going on now. We just had the elections in Northern Ireland, and potential trade war brewing. It's not likely to happen for months, but the thought of a trade war happening isn't going to help either of these currencies at the moment. So we have got the premise for a bigger, stronger drop on the euro and on the pound coming up as well. So we need to be a little careful if you're going to take this counter trend, any euro trades long. Always wary of any euro trades long. I haven't taken a euro trade long for a long time. I'm much more interested in shorting. If you get into a short on this and it pushes against you, I have no problem scaling into this at the moment, because I know at some point the euro is going to do this. However, if I'm getting into a long on the euro down here, I've always got in the back of my mind that this thing could just any moment just tank. Yeah, we're putting in market structure to the downside. Yeah, it's always putting in downside market structure. So at any point you could have a tiny pullback and a dump. So I don't like taking longs on the euro. It's only just got extended, but yes, it is a lovely technical double bottom bounce, and it's looking really good on the 4 hour at the moment. So M15, you've just had a reversal alert which is retested nicely and it's pushing up. How far it's going to go, don't know. So if you're going to take this, you just got to be a bit on the ball, keep your eye on it, and just don't let the thing run away with you, basically. Pound Swiss, this is the one that I'm in at the moment. Very nice extension on the 4 hour. Just got there. This is going to get stronger. Looking for a sweep of the highs here, and potentially, as I just said, looking at a sweep of the highs further back as well. So we got that high there. Actually, I mean this high here might be some liquidity. It's unlikely there's liquidity there. If you think about it from an investment trader's perspective, they got in back in February short. If they weren't out somewhere around here, if they were adding to their position and they were seeing these bounces, you've had so many opportunities to go, nah, this isn't working. Highly unlikely you're going to be out from there. From here, potentially you may have a deep stop on it, but most probably you're already taken out. So the liquidity is all going to be sitting there. A bit of buying coming in on the DAX. So this is where the vast majority of the liquidity is sitting. So looking basically for a sweep of this area and then a pullback. By the time we get up to there, probably this afternoon, we're going to be even more extended on the RSI, ready for a drop. Pull back on this. If it does double top there and it wants to pull back and go long for any reason, we'll be looking at this sort of area, maybe here. So pull back somewhere to here or to here. So plenty of room to move to the downside. Obviously the other option is we are just going to put in a lower high and then just come back down. So looking good. I like it, pound Swiss, and I like being short the pound. The only fly in the ointment this afternoon potentially is we get positive. Tomorrow is we get CPI figures that pump the pound tomorrow. So just got to be a bit wary of that. But this is why I'm getting into a pound. I'm looking for it to start dropping again tomorrow. A bit more buying coming in on the DAX at the moment. Not a lot. Really weak at the minute. This nice big dump. We are struggling here. We're struggling at these highs on the daily. Can't get the opening range low done. So, but obviously this is an inside bar. Until we break this high, this is bearish this morning. So. Just wait and see. So I've just gone to that additional short. So I've got 3.5 positions on short on that at the minute. So that's pound Swiss and US dollar CAD. So US dollar CAD, I've got a pending running on a break of M15. Might as well just stick that above those highs. So we've just taken out yesterday's low. So I'm waiting for a reverse alert to get in long on US dollar CAD. I'm just waiting to get in long on US dollar basically. US dollar CAD is my favorite at the moment. Obviously this is just started to trend up. And we've got a lovely pullback to the 24 at the moment. We're running into this accumulation here. Nice area of balance where we were happy to trade away. So nicely extended on the 4 hour, just looking for that bounce basically. So we'll be scaling in again back down at these lows. Obvious entry down there at the 72. Failing that, we've got 2 highs coming up, which will potentially be support bounces as well. So that's the plan. If it doesn't just go. Hopefully it will just go off of retail. So if we get positive retail this afternoon, we should get a nice push on the US dollar. So just looking for a US dollar to get into. The other options obviously US dollar Swiss, which is just so extended. It could well obviously just fly. I mean, it will fly if we get positive news, but it's because it's so extended, it's more likely this is going to run out of steam faster than the others. And obviously US dollar yen has already done a little bounce, so there is potential for this one to go as well. So US dollar yen's probably another good looking long opportunity for this morning. If you want to scale into another US dollar. Apart from that, Euro US is a good looking short. So this is spot on where I'll be looking to short the Euro US as well. So this is good. So drop down, wait for a reversal alert on that one as a short. Assuming we're going to get positive retail figures, obviously. If it comes out negative, we might get the opposite. But either way, we should get a push off the US dollar fairly shortly. New Zealand US is a little extended. Yeah, I mean, New Zealand US, I'd like to see us get back up into here, ideally. If we get negative retail on the US, obviously New Zealand US will push up. If it pushes up into there, there's a nice little short opportunity out of there as well. So there's a few options on the US dollar pairs ahead of news. Apart from that, nothing much else is getting extended on the RSI. So there's nothing really that I'm particularly interested in at present, apart from the positions that I've got on. Hourlies, we've got very similar. Aussie US, nice extended on the hourly. A little bit of selling coming through on the US indices. Really indecisive this morning. The indices looked like it wanted to have another crack at these lows. We're getting a lot of rejection, a lot of buying down here, but we're not actually getting anywhere. And and it's not strong buying. It's the odd flurry of buy orders coming through. I'm not quite sure what they're waiting for this morning. Just like liquidity at the minute, but Aussie US nice extended. We're looking for shorts on this one, so this is a good opportunity for a short. This accumulation here before that drop, so this propulsion gap is a good target for a short. Obviously that's also a high, so anybody that got in short anytime from mid last week has got their liquidity sitting up there, so if they can get up to there, that'll be good. So again, on the news, think about the news, obviously, which is what moves the market and what they use to reach for levels. If we get negative retail figures for the US dollar, Aussie US is going to pump up. When it gets up to there, it's going to grab that liquidity and then likely come back down again. Don't forget, retail figures are not a leading indicator, they are a reactionary indicator. Retail figures are driven by, sorry, that's CPI. Retail figures are driven by what is happening with monetary policy. So it's not used as something to designate monetary policy or to change monetary policy. It's just showing you what happens because of monetary policy. If monetary policy makes us poorer, retail sales go down. Just because retail sales have gone down doesn't mean they're going to change their monetary policy. So it's not something that is used particularly to change the fundamental bias or direction of a pair. It's just an indicator of how the economy is going, how well everything's going at the moment. So Aussie US drop down M5, reversal alerts. You're just about to get one now on that one. So if you're trading off the hourly, you want to be trading M5 for entries. Euro pound. Yeah, don't want to get in front of this. Euro. Strong pound at the moment. Very strong pound at the moment. Things on an absolute mission. So obviously the euro pound is coming down because we've got very, very, very strong pound. I suspect this is all movement. Lots of buying coming in now. I suspect this is all movement ahead of the CPI figures tomorrow for the pound. So they're just getting to where they want to be before the news. So not necessarily meaning we've got a strong pound at the moment. It means they're going somewhere before the news tomorrow, and then the real move will probably start. Obviously it could be a positive move for the pound, we don't know, but if we are monthly range, I sit on the pound Swiss, there we go. So if we do get positive moves, we are already going to be extended up here with a big push, which will take us even more extended, and then people will start to sell out because they will have made a load of money on that move, and then the sell cycle will start from there. So it doesn't really matter if this one pushes, I don't think, at the minute. We've got some news tomorrow which is likely to reverse that position. Pound yen pushing up nicely. Obviously, bear in mind with the yen, I think we are. Don't think this is real yen. I think that's what we should be doing with the yen. So holding on to my Swiss yen as a long, and obviously this thing is pushing up nicely at the moment, so I wouldn't want to be taking shorts on this. I'd be more inclined to look for pullbacks and longs. Pound US dollar. This one's a tricky one because obviously we've got US dollar news this afternoon and then we've got pound tomorrow. We're just tapping up into this potential resistance. We've got two areas of resistance coming. If for any reason it manages to get through this accumulation here, this 2-week sort of accumulation, we've got nowhere to stop until we're getting back up to 1.3, which is a hell of a way. So there's a lot the pound has got to get through. It's got to get through the 24, it's got to get through this accumulation, we've got resistance coming up, so there's a lot of resistance, and obviously the outlook for the pound, as Bailey laid out yesterday in no uncertain terms, it ain't looking good. I think the words Armageddon were used in his speech. So food prices are going to start to go through the roof. electricity, oil, gas, petrol, everything is just going through the roof at a rate of knots. And for the governor of the Bank of England to use the words Armageddon when he's talking about the future for us, not good. So not good for the pound, basically. Not good for any country, really. I mean, everything's going up everywhere. It's just certain economies are positioned better to handle this, and they have monetary policy in place that is going to get through it a little bit better, like the US and the CAD, and potentially the Aussies and the New Zealanders as well. So yeah, shorts be looking for on this. So euros and the pounds looking for shorts. So the fact that we're pushing up nicely on the RSI on the 4-hour and the RSI on the hourly is already extended, and we've got two elements of news coming out on this pair in the next 24 hours. This is all getting nicely set up for shorts. US dollar CAD, as I say, I'm already poised, ready to jump into this one when we get the next reversal alert. I'm just waiting for a break of this high, which is a break of that low, yesterday's low. So I'm just getting in a little bit after the reversal alert. So it'll either reverse and go, or we get a reversal alert and a retest, which is your reversal, and then I'll jump in after the retest. Either way, looking to get a long position started on that one. Obviously extended on the hourly, embedded since yesterday. It's just a nice level. We've got loads of chop here. We're running into this beautiful balance area. We had price discovery to the downside, weren't interested. Tried again to the downside, weren't interested. Finally decided we want to go higher. So we're just running back into this area of balance now. So potentially looking for a bounce and continuation higher. That's it for today on those. There's nothing else to look at on them. Went through every pair yesterday, so if you want to have a look at every pair analysis, go and have a look at yesterday morning's replay. I'm not going to go through every pair again, but is there any other instruments anybody wants to have a look at? I'll go through the US indices and gold as well. What's happening with Bitcoin at the minute? Stuck in accumulating. That's the ruble. Ethereum. Yeah, I'm glad I got out of this Ethereum trade. This is the Ethereum bounce off the daily levels I took, and I got out there, didn't I? A couple of days I held it for. Oh no, somewhere up there maybe. Friday got out. Yeah, so I got out here. We are just sideways on this thing at the minute. Not going anywhere. Right, other US indices. So the Dow, more buying coming in on the DAX. I think I'm getting stopped out on these. Yeah, I'm out of one. We're just up at the opening range highs now again. Very whippy session again. Very volatile at the moment. The DAX, all the indices are, but not moving very fast. You've got to be a bit patient with these and leave a little bit of room on your stops. I'm just taking another short up at the highs. Oops, I'm just going to reduce risk right down on that one. It's a high risk trade, so I'm just taking tiny risk on it, removing my stop right down from up there to there. Just basically playing the double top. So just looking for a double top bounce. High risk, no reason for it necessarily to happen. 50-50 shot. So US dollar CAD. US dollar CAD, US 30 Dow. We are obviously pulling back on the Dow at the minute. It had a big strong drop, as all the US indices did. We made our new low, so we're now on the pullback, waiting for the next leg. We've got this area of potential resistance, which we basically did a rotation in yesterday, and at the moment we're pushing back out. So it's breaking these highs is what we're looking for really. If we're going to continue to push up, we're going to break these highs. This area here is potentially where we're going to look to come back up to. DAX is off. So that's really where I would be looking to start our next moves down. So we'll see what happens in the US Open, whether or not we get these highs broken. Nasdaq yesterday we had a down day on, and we had a down day on the S&P as well. But it's all part of this big pullback. So we had 5-6 down days on the trot over the last week. These things are absolutely collapsing. Obviously for these we've got various resistance points coming up potentially here. So be looking for a push up to 41.20 on the S&P, and potentially looking for sort of 112,800 level on the Nasdaq. So if we can get a decent strong push up into these areas today, we're looking for short opportunities up there. But yeah, all still down. We're just in a pullback at the minute. The DAX is not interested in going short though, is it, this morning? It's going to be 2 terrible days on the trot at the moment. Wow, they're buying the hell out of this lot. Okay, so we've got opening range break to the high. I mean, there's nowhere to stop now from a technical perspective until we get up to there 143.16, which is miles away. Oops. So that's the high. So we've broken out above the previous highs. So potentially we've got a clear run up all the way up to there. Not going to do that. Well, could do. I mean, it's ADR. Could do it today. But yeah, that's left 2 gap fills behind now. So who knows? So should be really looking for longs this morning on the DAX. So looking for pullbacks and looking for long opportunities on it. But just be aware, obviously, of these 2 gaps that we've got to the downside at some point. And we're in a very deep pullback now on the DAX. If we're going to continue bearish market structure, obviously that's what we're looking to happen. So double top would be kind of worst case scenario if we're going to continue to the downside, as we are with everything else. So any moment. Gold. So gold, basically, we got the bounce off of that low. So remember I said, obviously, if we're going to get a continued US dollar, the US dollar is what's driving gold at the moment. So if we're going to continue to get US dollar strength showing through, we should be looking for areas that we're going to run into as resistance, and then looking for short opportunities. Difficult to tell where gold's going to go to. We've got these 2 areas of balance where we were very happy to trade for very many months. This is where we are at the moment. So there's the possibility we're just going to go into some kind of range down at this level. So it's very difficult to tell where it's going to go, but I'd be still looking more on the short side, obviously, based on what the US dollar is doing at the moment. But be aware of where we've got. The gold does have a life of its own. It does have its own momentum. It's not just pushed around by the US dollar. So if we get a strong US dollar and we get an even stronger gold, obviously we will get a push up in gold, even if US dollar's pushing. But be aware of these levels that we've got coming up if you're going to short it, because you're likely to get quite a few bounces down here as we come back into this area of chop. Market's going to just chop around down here for a little bit. So but I'd be looking more for shorts than longs, and obviously where we are at the minute is a very good potential resistance that we're tapping up into. So look for reversal on M5 on M15. So you just had a reversal on M15 there. M5 you just had one on a retest as well. So that looks good for shorts at the moment. It's very orderly gold at the minute, just doing exactly what it should be doing. So anywhere around here is potentially where I'd look for next leg down. Failing that, obviously look at where the resistance is above. But shorts, how's my Swissy getting on? Still pushing, that's good. So TP there on all those positions. Oops. Euro's coming down fairly nicely as well at the moment. So all about the pound this morning by the looks of things. Although that is putting in a hell of a wick on the hourly, look. So we just run into this propulsion gap. This is really one gap, this massive area here. There's one candle in the middle, but you can kind of ignore that. So one massive propulsion gap here, where all the sellers started to step in, drove the price down to there. We're tapping back into those orders. So anybody holding this long-term short, institutional, will be trading sort of 4 hourly and daily charts. Anybody shorting out of this will be shorting back in here. So good area for shorts, but obviously high price up there for the banks. So that's where I'd look for them to try to get to ahead of tomorrow. Oh, how'd you get into this long, eh? It's very difficult to take a long when it's pushing like this. I want to pull back. So looking for some kind of move as a pullback on that, ideally. And then look for potential longs. As I say, target all the way up there. A long way to go. Consistent buying coming in at the minute. So next batch of selling we see. I would start pending orders above the highs and look to build a long position up to that area this morning. Probably the best thing to do. I got some ground to make up. Right, that's all I've got for this morning. So be aware, obviously, this afternoon, 1:30 is retail sales for the US dollar. Very mixed bag, as you can see, positive and negative. So it could be anything, and it's sometimes it's a few percentile out, sometimes it's miles out. So there's a massive opportunity for big moves off of retail sales, always is. Sometimes it does absolutely nothing. Other times it will just fly. All depends on the market and what they need to do with it. And obviously bear in mind that is going to affect all indices as well. So US retail sales affect everybody. When US retail sales drop, it affects manufacturing worldwide. So stocks in all currencies will be affected by US retail, because they're the largest consumer of consumer goods, and their majority of consumer goods consumed in the US are not made in the US. So you have to bear that in mind. So all indices will get impacted as well. So big one across the board. Okay, so that's all I've got for you this morning. I'm just going to manage those positions that I've got on. So pound Swiss, euro odd, short, and Swiss yen, long. I'll post in Telegram if I'm going to take any more on these. DAX, I'm going to try and get in long if it gives us a pullback, which it doesn't seem to be at the moment. So a little bit of selling starting to come in. So I'm just going to see if I can get into a position on it. Basically, it's not really giving us an in at the minute, but looking for, that sort of movement. Yeah, it's basically what we're doing at the minute. So 2, 3, 4, 5 bar pullbacks into resistance, into support, into 20, 50 zone. So any kind of pullback basically to start building a long position, and then got plenty of room to go up today. We'll see, but just bear in mind as well, we've got these gaps, 2 of them, so this could be the final push as well before this thing just tanks. So always think about the options, both options. Okay, I'll leave it there, guys. Anything you need, come in the Telegram group. I will be in there. I will be back tomorrow morning at 7:50. If you need anything, come in the Telegram group. Otherwise, I will see you in the morning. Hopefully have a good day.